Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the FTRL channel. Tonight it is round 3 of season 11 of our F1 Championship, and we are bringing you the race from the Mexican Grand Prix. It's Monday evening, which means it's time for the turn of our top tier, the F1 division, and joining me shortly, although he's not currently here, FTRL Blue Flag, who I can't hear. So bear with us 1 second, we've got some technical difficulties. Hopefully you can hear me though, while we will sort this out between us. So out onto track come the cars. Looking at the racing points of LR, Betty and Bran. Bran of course was our pole sitter last time out in Russia. And converted that into a strong P4 result at the end. So 2 rounds down, and it is 2 wins for our Series 9 champion. That is T1000 Zach. Right, I've just got the invitation to a new party, so bear with me 1 second. So can you hear me? Sigh. Oh, I can hear you. Oh, there we go. Sorted. Right, connection. Right, sorry for that, guys. We've got our comms issue sorted, and now we can welcome FTRL Blue Flag to the chat. Good evening, Si.
Good evening. Hello, everyone.
So, round 3 upon us already, and we've had 2 races and 2 wins for our Series 9 champion, T1000 Zach. He is a man in form, and he is very interested in taking that title back from Dutch Tricks.
Yeah, and last week Dutch seemed to resort to some underhand tactics. He even admitted to doing so as well, so clearly that form from Zach is causing Dutch to really push the limits to try and retain his championship.
It was, yeah, he put up some stern defence as he tried to hold off Zach into turn 2. We saw them running across the curb a couple of times between them before, well, come to the final lap, and Zach was found himself down in P3 behind Tico as well, and then he put in probably one of the best laps I've ever seen from anybody in FTRL on the F1 game, to storm through from about 2 seconds back to pass Tico, home in on Dutch, and then overtake Dutch before the flag as well. Not that he needed to, because Dutch did have an additional penalty, but it was definitely a statement of intent from the Ferrari driver. And he's continuing that form by putting himself currently on pole position here as well. So again, another strong showing from him. On board with LR Betty at the minute, who's out on the hard tyre, which is an interesting choice. A big moment now as it comes out of turn 3. First of the stadium sections, very slow left-right chicane. So this double apex right-hander. And now we head towards the flowing section. Oh, big slide again there, almost into the wall. That car looking like a bit of a handful on those tyres. Into the stadium section. Of course, this is an unused baseball stadium, which was implemented when F1 returned to Mexico a couple of years ago. Used to go around the outside into the final corner, and he pops himself into P8.
Yeah, I do miss that old Peraltada corner.
I've watched a few classic F1 races on Mansell Senna era, and yeah, it did look something quite special. including didn't was it Senna put it in the wall there? Was it Mansell? I can't remember. I watched one race and one of them definitely binned it.
I think Senna ended up on his head in a practice session there,
That'd be the one.
and it was Mansell who pulled that iconic move on Berger around the outside.
And that's the one I'm thinking of. So, historic circuits brought up into the modern standards. Still getting a little bit feisty on the hard tyres then, so a few changes at the top. Now FTRL Oxy, fresh from winning the performance race last week, has popped himself up into P2. Nexus Iceman, a good show in there, P3 for him currently. We got on laps, let's have a look at Tico, shall we? Going into the final corner, he's the one we'd expect to be fighting for pole position. And he goes P9, but he also another one on the hard tyre. Which is a strange thing in qualifying. Dutch has also qualified on the hard tyre, he's currently P7. Well, we've got some interesting tyre choices so far, so.
Well, yeah, I think that should the race be dry, we could see varying strategies tonight. Some guys may opt to go for a two-stop, others may try the one.
Indeed, well, the hard tyre runs, you didn't expect them to be one-stopping. Obviously, though, that people are qualifying on the hard tyre would suggest that it's going to be a dry race. On laps at the moment. Let's have a look at current pole position, shall we?
Got a nice close group of lap times there from T. Smith, Ravers and Bran.
Going on board
all
with
within
Zach.
a tenth and a half of one another.
Really on board with Zach now to get those laps. Let's watch the current championship leader at work. Going to this flowing series of left-right S sections. Neat and tidy. And plenty of curves. The stadium section comes into a very slow first gear corner. It's back on the power. Currently on a 14.2. Can you lower that benchmark? You can indeed, a 13.9. Of course he can. Don't even know why I questioned him. That is another impressive lap from our Series 9 champion, our current championship leader. He's going forward with Bran now. He's come to the end of a lap. Our pole the last time out. He's currently sitting in P6. Is this an improvement? So I think he's bailed out that lap. He looks quite pedestrian coming out of the final corner. This is not particularly circuit hard on tyre wear, so I'm interested to see how all the guys on the hard tyres, what their strategy is. Because I think some of us were doing testing last night, and you could probably get 12 laps sensibly out of the soft tyre if you start on it, and then I would think the medium tyre can go to the end, but I will bow to the knowledge of a three-time series champion. If Dutch thinks the hard tyre is the way to go, then who am I to argue?
I was going to say, I think we did another practice lobby before this one tonight, and yeah, the tyre wear data that came back was a little bit different to what we had last night. So I don't know if there was a small glitch in the game, or if one of the settings wasn't quite right, but yeah, the tyre wear was a bit more aggressive than it was last night. Hence why the mention of the two-stop came up.
It does look a little bit cooler, so perhaps that is why we're seeing more. Got on board with Oxy, who's currently sitting P2. few guys in the chat already, so look who we've got. We've got Maxime. Good evening, good luck, gents. So you wish everybody good luck. So we've got 18 tonight, just the one missing, which is FTRL Panda. And obviously we are still looking to recruit for F1, so anybody who's watching tonight knows anybody who might be interested in a seat in F1, please do get in touch. We are one person shy. Nexus Cat is supporting his fellow Nexus driver Iceman. Currently sitting in P4. Deneen has just popped himself up into P2 in the McLaren, so good luck from him. Very unlucky last time out when his game lagged out while he was in a strong position. Hopefully he'll be able to stick around for the entire race this time.
So there's some very decent lap times coming through now, but you know, that time from Zach, I mean, there are times there below him that you would think that would be good enough for pole. That, I think that just shows how good that lap from Zach was.
Indeed. So he's currently sitting 4 tenths clear of Deneen. That's an impressive lap from Deneen to throw himself into contention. Looking down, we've got Dutch sat in the pits on the soft tyres. I'm expecting him to come out for a run on those. Is he waiting to see if he moves any further down? Obviously, we won't want to be giving Zach that much of a head start, so I'm expecting him to come out on those soft tyres. Let's have a look at Aaron, shall we?
Yeah, he's just completed a lap, improved to P7.
Okay, P7 for out. Good pace last week, finished P5. I'm seeing a bit more of the true Aaron this season. I think he's got rid of all his bad luck. Well, hopefully he's got rid of all his bad luck.
You said it now.
Sorry, Aaron.
It's Lee's fault, Aaron.
My bad. He's currently sat just in front of his teammate, T. Smith, who is out on the medium tyre and drifting around turn 3. Everybody else inside the top 10 currently on the softs. Dutch Tricks has now fitted the medium tyre as well. Still sat in the pits though, so he's leaving it late. This Co-Andy just pops himself into P5 there. Go on Team Banana.
Yeah, speaking of Team Banana, Lennon disconnected from servers.
Hopefully he can get back in. We know he likes to do a late lap, so he's leaving it late, and he's decided to leave the session as well. Just leave it, just to keep us on our toes. Maybe he just thrives on the pressure. T. Smith out of the final corner. I think he's abandoning that lap after a few too many slides. He is indeed. And Brown out of the final corner. He too has abandoned his lap. We've got Dutch
And I
Tricks
bet he
on.
goes P5.
Good improvement from him, throwing the racing point up into P5. He got outshot by his teammate last week, who put it on pole and came home P4. Unfortunately, I think LR Betty retired in the end. I think he suffered some damage on the opening lap. So the Mexico circuit has this obviously very long straight into that chicane, so I'm expecting a lot of drafting and some incidents into turn 1.
Yeah, that turn 1, 2, 3 section on lap 1 is historically proven to be tricky, so I expect more of the same tonight.
On board with Dutch Tricks as he starts a flying lap. He's on the medium tyre, so he's going for an alternate strategy to the guys currently in the top 10. I want to be close to Zach though. He's not going to want to give him a head start, even if he will have better pace at the end. Second to the first of the stadium sections of the lap. The double right hander clips both apexes quite nicely. Into this fast flowing section. Curb. Speed up. Switches left to right, good direction change of the car, looking planted. curve and more as he gets an extra, using that for extra turning. Through the stadium section he comes. This final corner. Now on the power. Where does this put him? He's currently down in 14th. This will be an improvement. But he goes P12. Now I don't think he has enough time to get round again.
No, that's gonna be it, I think.
No, Dutch Tricks on the back foot.
We know that Dutch isn't no slouch, and that's just the tyre differential, I think.
The top 11 currently on the soft tyre, which is the leading driver on the medium with Tico as well. Tico down in 13th currently.
So Tico and Dutch mirroring strategy.
Zach is on his way out as well, so he's fancying another lap. We've got a surge of late runners. The track's starting to ramp up. Has Dutch maybe gone out too early? Well, the track obviously gets quicker at the end. Has maybe just gone out too early. This could be a bit of a shocker already. Lennon is back in and he's on his outlap, so we've got Ravers on the flank. In fact, Aaron's just coming to the end of a lap.
Yep, there's traffic.
And he gets out of his way.
Just gets out of the way.
Taking his eye though. Currently in P10. He tries for the line. Is this an improvement? It is. P6. Just off the back of LR Betty there. 200ths of a second between those two. That's a good qualifying from Aaron, but there's still plenty of guys behind him on quick laps. So will he stay there?
Ravers to the line.
Ravers currently P10. Doesn't improve. On board now with T Smith as he heads down. He's into the first of the stadium section. Is there anybody coming to the end of the lap you can see, Si?
No, not at the moment. Everyone's just completing out laps and starting their flyers.
Okay, I'll stay on board with T Smith for the time being then. He's currently through this flowing S section.
He's backed out of that. Oh no, that's Aaron.
Still on 5 ERS. Into the stadium section he comes. A little bit more planted on the soft tyres. Ross has popped himself into P8 there, good qualifying from him. But no, he has bailed out, he's into the pits, so T Smith bails out as well. Let's have a look at what Zach is doing. Currently on pole. Ox has called the end to his session. Next as Iceman stays P4. Chicken Guy pops himself up
Burns
into P8.
abandons.
Still in the top 10.
Andy to P5.
Oh, I've got a McLaren facing the wrong way. The stadium section.
It's the 9. Goes P3.
Good luck there from Betty. Here comes Zach. Is he going to improve? I don't think so. Oh, he does. 27 thousandths of a second. He squeezes yet more time. McNean has had a spin, so he's now that. So we've just got Ravers, I believe, who has bailed out. So there we have it. That is qualifying done, and it is a second pole position of the season for T1000 Zach, further increasing his lead over Dutch Tricks. Yeah, some appreciation for that lap there, Sam Saunders in the chat. Good evening, Sam. I'm impressed with that lap there, 1:13.880 puts him half a second up on LR Deneen. He was P2. So qualifying for the Mexican Grand Prix is complete, and it is a familiar sight on the front row of the grid. So T1000 Zach will line up on pole position alongside LR Deneen in the McLaren. LR Betty and FTRL Oxy will go off row 2 ahead of Nexus Iceman and Co-Andy. Great job from those two in 5th and 6th. Brand Glover pole sitter last time out, P7, alongside Aaron. Chicken Guy, P9, and Ross starting P10 in the Toro Rosso. Great result there from him. Joe Burns and Dutch Tricks sharing row 6. Don't think many people had that down. With Raves Revenge, T. Smith, row 7. Pagani, 15th. Tico down in 16th place. A lot of work there for him to be doing to come through for a good result. But he is on the medium tire. He can pick off which tyre he wants now. So let's see what he comes out with on the grid. Qualifying done. So guys in the chat, let's hear your podium predictions. And we'll wait for you guys to put yours in. Let's go to you, Si.
I am going to go with Zach for the win, Oxy for second, and I think that Dutch is going to fight his way through the field and finish third.
A lot of work there for Dutch to do to make that happen. I agree. I think Zach is probably the favourite for this one, so I'm putting him down for the win. I'm going to put LL Betty is due a good result. I think he's going to be P2, and I believe that Deneen is going to hold on for a podium in P3. So that's my 3. Cat is expecting Ox to retire on lap 1, so yeah, good faith there from him. Nexus Cat reckons Nexus Iceman, Nexus Iceman, Nexus Iceman. Well, he's starting in P5, so it's not out of the question as we head away on our out lap. So keep those coming in, boys, and we'll get round to them before the race starts. So pole position, the second one of the year for T1000 Zach, ahead of LR Deneen in the McLaren, going off P2. In third, LL Betty in the lead, Racing Point, and he shares row 2 with FTRL Oxy, winner of the performance race last week in Brazil, so his confidence should be up. Can he get another good result this evening? Nexus Iceman qualifying that Williams on P5, great effort from him, and he's sharing row 3 with Coandy in the lead Renault. Bran, who was pole sitter the last time out, will go off P7, so great job from both Racing Points inside the top 7. Sharing the 4th row with our overlord Aaron Taylor. Chicken Guy in the lead starts P9 with newcomer to the series Ross, his best qualifying yet, I believe, P10. Also out qualifying Ravers for the first time this season. Row 6 is the 2 McLarens, Joe Burns, F2 runner-up last season, leading his teammate and reigning champion Dutch Tricks. A lot of work for him to do on P12. He is on the medium tyres, so he's going for the alternate strategy, going really long. He's going to have some pace at the end. Raver's Revenge going off P13, showing row 7 with T. Smith in the second of the Alfa Romeos. Pagani P15, and he's been complaining a lot about this circuit. He's not enjoying Mexico, so what can you do from P15? Tico with a bit of a surprise down in 16th. He's on the hard tyre. Interesting call from him there, and going off of P... There's P18 on my screen for some reason. Where's Lennon gone?
Yeah, Lennon was P17. The game's kicked him out because on his screen it said there weren't enough players in the lobby.
No, okay,
so
interesting.
Something seriously wrong with Lennon's game this evening.
He's not on the grid, and F3 then bringing up the rear in the second Ferrari. So back onto the grid. And now we wait for the lights. And they're away. And there's a good start from Zach. He's got an absolute lightning start. Andy's done Iceman off the line. Chicken Guy and Taylor side by side. Here we go. We've got 3 wide. Deneen's ghosting in the middle of LR Deneen. Oh! And Betty up the inside of him into P2. It's a great start from him. Coandy on the outside of Deneen. He's up 2 already. Ox has gone backwards. It all looks fairly clean so far.
I'd say I've done very well to get through there so far.
The Dutch Trick's already up 4 places into P8 there. He's had a great start in the Mercedes.
He's off on the infield.
Deneen's off, he's going backwards. Lucky for him. But his fellow front row starter, Zach, got the perfect start, and he leads.
Oh, it's Ross around in the S's.
Oh, it's Ross. Oh, Ross, after qualifying so well, it's all gone wrong on the first lap. And Dutch Tricks has also gone back down to 11th place, so I'm not quite sure what's happened to him.
Yeah, he went off on the infield in that first stadium section with Deneen. I don't know if he was avoiding Deneen or what happened to him, but yeah.
Pagani up into the top 10 there, big move on him. He's up 5. F3 into the pits, Tico into the pits, Ravers into the pits. So guys at the back there have picked up some damage. Deneen goes through, Ross he also goes through, so no damage for those two for their little altercations on the first lap. And now we can settle down a bit, obviously waiting for the DRS to kick in next time around. That will make that start-finish rate an interesting place for overtaking, but it currently is T1000 Zach leading by just over a second from LR Betty. He's had a great start. Coandy up to P3, good start from him, he's already up 3 places. Ox has recovered to P4. And for a start, Bran up to P5, so both racing points in the top 5. Great effort from those two. Next is Iceman down 1, he's in P6, Aaron up into P7. A bit of a gap there, and he's got Chicken Guy, Joe Burns and Pagani, and a bit of a train going on there. Oh, Dutch wide in the background again, as he picked up some wing damage. And that collision with the knee, I wonder.
Can't see any. Nothing clearly visible on that Mercedes.
No, it looks okay.
No moves into turn 1 this time around.
Oxford is closest to Coandy. It's ended lap 3, isn't it? So it goes on. So, was that the third lap it starts? Or was it after the third lap? One of the things you know, but you question yourself because I would have thought you would have popped it open now, but it didn't come open down that second straight.
Yeah, I think there's only one detection point on this track.
Maybe that might be it. Yeah.
So they won't get it until the end of this lap.
So here we go. Then Andy is probably going to be under threat. Oh, Bran going in hot there, almost into the back of Ox.
Yeah, there's the detection point there, just on the exit of the stadium.
Okay, Andy is going to be vulnerable here. He's got 2 cars, they're going to have DRS not far behind him. Yeah, the thing pops open this time. Does he have enough of a lead to hold him off? Ox is closing rapidly now. Is he going to jump to the inside? He does. And he's late on the brakes though, trying to brave it around the outside. Still side by side, but Ox has got it done. And out over the curb. Ox is in there. DRS again for Ox.
It's going to leave Andy vulnerable to Bran.
Bran around the outside as well. And Andy down 2 places. Up into P3. Iceman keeping a watching brief up behind them. Aaron fending off Chicken Guy, who's up the inside. Do that double right-hander. Hold him off. More Joe Burns and Pagani back and battling as they were in the start of F2 last season. And Dutch Tricks has latched back onto this train of cars as well. Big style from Chicken Guy through the S's. So we've got a 4-car train and a 5-car train. Pagani is about to succumb to Dutch.
Inside into the stadium.
Dutch backs out of it. That was a late lunge. Well, these guys are going to have DRS of each other. So Aaron's going to be the vulnerable one here at the front of this train. Is he close enough to the car in front? I don't think so. No, he's not. Here comes Chicken Guy.
Chicken Guy.
Dutch thinks about it. Oh, Pagani with a late send on Joe Burns. Backs out of it. Dutch there on the inside. I think he's compromised his run. Pagani's got a run on Joe Burns. And they're now side by side. Dutch no way through for him at the minute. Pagani around the outside. But now he has the inside. And he gets the overtake done. And Dutch is going to follow him through. So Joe Burns down 2 places. Great pass from Pagani and some opportunistic moves from Dutch, who then gets a big slide into that left-hander. Lots of action going on. Subsequent guy and Aaron just broken away a little bit there from the Pagani, Dutch and Joe battle. Pagani just gone a bit deep there into the first part of the stadium section.
Yeah, meanwhile you've got Ox, Bran and Andy all battling together. Iceman's closed up onto the back of it, and in front of them Betty and Zach are clearing off into the distance.
Bran looking to make a move on Ox to the outside, and he gets it done. DRS very effective down the start-finish straight. And we'll have that again on this second straight. Is Ox now under threat? A very decent exit though, and that should keep him safe from Andy this time. So we'll retain P4 as Dutch has disposed of Pagani. Into turn 4. Pagani though back up the inside and gets the overtake done. So using those soft tyres and his superior grip. Back up the inside of Dutch. Dutch doesn't need this, he needs to get moving forward. Oh well, I bet he's gone. Oh, he's crashed there coming out of the S's. He's on the left hand side of the track.
Oof.
Guessing one of the Mercedes
drove into him.
Very close from that oof. Oh well, I bet he's... Oh, Bran there.
It was one of those, Pagani maintained his line and then wasn't sure if the car was ghosted or not, just swerved at the last moment. Aaron's pitted.
Ox taking second place back from Bran on the DRS.
Pagani's under attack from touchdown to turn 1.
Again, he's got no DRS.
To the outside.
Pagani, he's going to hold him off here. Well, this is the first part of the corner. Dutch runs in deep and gets it done on exit. A great run out of 3. Dutch will have the DRS. Pagani tucks into his slipstream to the inside. Oh, that's a late move. Oh, Dutch just hangs on around the outside. Can Pagani switch back again? Dutch is a bit wide, and Pagani's up his inside. Will they touch? Oh, and around he goes! Oh, and T. Smith just gets through as Dutch gets his car facing the right way again, lights up the rear tyres, and he did not need that. He did not need that at all. Did Pagani suffer any wing damage in that? I think he's okay. But that's let Joe Burns through into 7th, and he's got away. And now he's got T. Smith on his tail. Meanwhile, up front, T1000 Zach is now 5 seconds clear. On his own. His nearest rival crashed. Ox has just about got enough over Bran down the start-finish straight to hold him off. Andy and Iceman both got DRS, but they're not close enough to make any moves, so everybody's just following each other at the moment. Down a little wide on exit.
T. Smith's got past Pagani down the main straight.
Even more impressive, he's on the hard tyre as well. Back down to 16th place there, battling the Ravers. So Deneen's race not gone well. Opening lap skirmish with Dutch in the infield section. So just a few more while we wait for them to come back to the start-finish straight and have some more battles. A few more podium predictions. We've got Maxi, who reckons Zach, Oxy, Betty. Well, unfortunately that one's not going to happen. So the top 2, they're currently right. Goy Carp is supporting Team Banana, but he reckons Zach, Deneen and Andy. Andy's in with a shot of a podium. Unfortunately, Deneen probably is not from P16. Liam reckons Zach, Betty, Tico. And Tico still down, just moved up into 13th, but he's not making the moves forward we would expect from somebody who's usually battling at the sharp end now. That poor qualifying is really going to hurt him. Now Andy's a lot closer to Bran this time.
Yeah, and Ox has almost broken the DRS to Bran.
Yellow flag sector 2, not quite sure who that was. Was that maybe Deneen? Looks like he's been off the circuit again. Oh, I think his tyres are cooked. He's spinning again, just as the leaders come through. It's 9 laps into this race, and Deneen is already a lap down. This race has not gone well, unfortunately, for the McLaren man. Zach, meanwhile, is serenely on his way, untroubled up front. 5.2 seconds to the good over Ox. Like you say, he has got out of DRS range of those behind him.
Yeah, that's going to leave Bran open to attack.
And in fact, Bran's pitting. So an early stop. This suggests a 2-stopper, unless he's going onto the hard. Let's stay with him. Let's see what tyres he picks. If he goes onto the hard, he's 1-stopping. If he goes into the mediums, possibly 2. It is the medium compound. So does that suggest a 2-stopper?
Suggests a 2 to me.
Yeah, 26 laps on the medium tyres, a long way to go. He's on away. Here comes that in P9, just ahead of Aaron, who pitted a couple of laps ago.
Nice man attacking Andy.
Deneen pits, and he has unfortunately retired from the session. Andy and Iceman now currently battling over the final step on the podium. And Brian gets his tyres up to temperature. Where will he factor back in? He's currently behind Dutch, his teammate last season. Dutch back up to 8th place now as he starts to close in on T. Smith. That's Andy pits from P3. As Oxy also in, and Zach.
And he's been pinged for speeding.
Zach has gone onto the hard tyre, so he's going to the end. Oxy's onto the mediums, so he's possibly 2-stopping. Andy's onto the hards, so he's going long. And there goes Bran. Bran's going to get a big undercut here. He's going to catch and pass Oxy. He's at racing speed in his racing point. And he swoops past Oxy back up into P6. And Oxy picks up a corner cutting warning and penalty for a roll on exit. So interesting strategy starting to play out now. We've got some people who are clearly 1-stopping and others who are probably going for 2. So Brown, in the distance you can see Zach, who is the net race leader. From the hard side now, Brand needs to get his foot down and catch and pass Zach if he wants any hope of overhauling him at the end. He's on a softer compounded tyre, obviously on the mediums. Currently in the lead is Joe Burns leading. Now he's somehow caught and passed next to Iceman, who's pitting. But has Iceman had a moment somewhere, because he was quite way ahead of Joe Burns before. But as Dutch goes past T. Smith into turn 1 in DRS. Recovering after that earlier spin.
I think Iceman must have had a moment, because he was a lot closer to Co-Andy than that. I don't think the undercut would be that big for one lap.
Yeah, so he must have had a moment somewhere off camera. And currently I have a Mercedes 1-2, so they're both running longer on the medium tyres. Joe Burns 3.7 seconds ahead of his teammate. T. Smith just trying to cling on to Dutch's coattails. And behind them, Zach is just starting to close in a little bit in P4. Bran and Ox looks like the closest battle at the moment. It's coming into the stadium section. Ox is within that DRS range. Can he stay close enough to have a go into turn 1? He'll get 2 bites at it. Bran tucks into the inside up to the pit wall to try and break the toe. DRS now open on the Red Bull. Closing, closing, closing. Dan's done a good job there of holding him off. Now he needs to get a good exit off 3. Keep the momentum up. Keep himself out of the clutches of that Red Bull. And have another go at the DRS. He's back. He's pulled another 10th on him there, so he's probably safe this lap. But that long straight really does help with the DRS.
Yeah, Ox has almost double the ERS saved up to Bran.
Indeed, he does. Almost at full battery at the moment. They come through the S's section. Oh, Zach picks up a penalty, in fact, says Zach. And too many trips over the curbs. We saw last week in Russia it was particularly heavy on the penalty circuit. And there's a few places around here that are proving difficult for the drivers to stay within the white lines, especially that S section towards the end of the lap.
Ox closer this time around.
So he is within 4 tenths. Again, Bran tucks into the pit wall, snaking down the straight to try and break the toe. And again, I think it probably worked. I think it's worked.
It's like Ox isn't turning the ERS up from 2, so he's just content to sit behind Bran and just save battery at the moment.
And behind them, Chicken Guy passes Andy on the straights using the DRS. Moves himself up into P7 and then down to P8, but only on the harder tyre. Chicken Guy on the medium, which will suggest another stop. So we've got Nexus Iceman and Pagani on track, so that's just shows how badly Nexus Iceman has fallen back after whatever moment he had. Pagani now on the mediums, so he's possibly 2-stopping.
Just a quick glance at the stream comments. We've got a former FTRL member appeared, Dan Summers. Hello mate, how you doing? Good to see you back.
Watching Zach now as he closes in on T. Smith. Both of them on the hard tyres. Zach obviously on only 4-lap old tyres. T. Smith had gone 14. Stays in P4 for now. But will he use the DRS on this second straight? Get a better exit. Very close. Moves to the inside nice and early. DRS is open and he gets that overtake done. With a lock up there from T. Smith.
Pagani's closed in on Iceman. Didn't get close enough for a move into turn 1, but within range.
Raves revenge into the pits. Unfortunately, the Toro Rossos, after promising qualifying, running 14th and 15th at the moment, so the race is not going as well as the qualifying did for those two. So a long way to go. Anything can and usually does happen in FTRL. So Ox having cleared Bran. Now it's his turn to defend down the start-finish straight. He's probably got enough. He's also following that tactic. Tucks into the pit wall. Break the slipstream. And that does work on this first straight. Bran closing in now into the straight. And we'll have DRS again in a second. Come out of turn 3. Close enough for the second attempt. Aaron just disposed of Tico through the first couple of corners and has a big moment coming off the curb out of turn 3. Keeps it all pointing in the right direction though. He's on the grass.
Pagani getting that run off of turn 3. It's giving him a go at Iceman down to turn 4.
Round the outside. They go side by side through turn 5. Iceman trying to hang on around the outside, but Pagani gets it done. Good move there from Pagani. Iceman out on those hard tyres, and they just seem to be struggling a little bit at the moment.
I mean, Iceman, I don't think needs to be fighting Pagani too hard at the moment, because I'm pretty sure he's going to be in the pits again before this race ends.
Dutch now just starting to home in on his teammate, the gap down to 1.8 seconds, but also behind him the Ferrari of Zach has closed into 1.8 seconds as well, which means that he's nearly a pit stop ahead, and Dutch is yet to stop.
I've got some in the chat asking about strategy. All the top 10 started on the soft tyres, so
but then we've got a bit
some
of a
of
mix.
them I think, yeah, some of them I think maybe going for 2 sets of mediums, and others maybe going medium to hard, or soft to hard. There's quite a variation in strategy around here tonight.
Yeah, nothing seems to be definite, does it?
But Pagani's under threat from Iceman.
Oh, and it's going to be a repeat of the pass we saw Pagani do a lap ago. But he's fighting back up the inside. Oh, a bit of tyre action there. And holds him off for now.
Joe Burns, being the first Mercedes, has had the corn strategy. Comes in for the hard tyre.
It's interesting then going medium to hard. Doing like soft to medium is going to work around here. He's going to pop out in front of that Pagani and Iceman battle. See in the background Iceman using the DRS into the braking zone. He's down the inside. Pagani tries to fight it out. As Joe Burns picks up. Oh, Ross is retired. Fortunately, we've lost one of the Toro Rossos. Pagani kicks up the dirt out of 3. I think this time Iceman has got it done with the DRS on that second straight. Back up into
yeah, Ross has lost it at the end of the S section.
Same place that we saw our Betty crash earlier on.
Now, Zach has closed onto the back of Dutch, who hasn't pitted yet. Will we see the Mercedes in this time round? No, he's going to carry on.
Not this time. Zach's going to use the DRS. Doesn't need to worry really about Dutch at this stage of the race. He'll just be pulled along. T. Smith behind them. He's now got Ox going up the inside of him. Ox and Bran have closed up. T. Smith yet to stop. Ox gets through, and Bran will probably follow him on this straight.
For the lead.
Bran gets the overtake done on T. Smith as well. Dutch doesn't need to fight Zach at this stage. Oh, Pagani's gone. Where has that happened? Is that maybe on the exit of turn 3? On board with F3 as he comes down into the sector. Yellow flags are waving. Oh, he looks like it's at turn 2. Yeah, looks like he's crashed at turn 2, unfortunately. So Pagani, unfortunately, out. That battle with Iceman put to the end. And Dutch Tricks carries on for another lap. No signs of coming off of those medium tyres yet. Now, if he is one stopping, which is quite likely, he's probably bringing himself into contention with those guys behind him, because we expect Ox and Bran to have to stop again. So technically, if they've all got one stop, Dutch is ahead of Ox and Bran.
Yeah, those two spins that he's had earlier on in the race may have just adjusted Dutch's mind as to what lap he was going to come in.
Currently picking up a warning and a penalty.
See if he could take that, if he could get that medium tyre another 3 or 4 laps, he might be able to go on to a set of softs to the end.
Tico making steady progress. He's up to P7 on the back of Andy. Looking into the stadium section. Dutch goes another lap. How much longer are those medium tyres going to hold out? Even T. Smith, who started on the hards, has bailed out. He's gone on to the mediums to the end. Tico, like Dutch, carrying on again. But Tico stopped on.
We've got rivals off track, now doing battle on track, Aaron Taylor and Joe Burns.
This could get feisty. Aaron holding on. Joe on fresh set of hards, and possibly 2 stopping. As F3 pits for, I believe, the 3rd time. We had damage on the opening lap. Going into a set of mediums, not fancying the hards. Battle for current P3, and Ox and Bran are closing in on Dutch quite quickly now. This could well be the battle for the remaining podium place. Dutch is in. His tyres have cried enough. What tyre is he going on to? The answer is, it is a set of softs. 14 laps on the softs is probably doable.
Aaron's in.
Aaron as well. Is he going to switch back to the softs? Dutch is going to come up behind his teammate, but on significantly faster tyres. You'd expect him to catch and pass him quite quickly. This next is Iceman going to insert himself into this battle, however. Closing, but Dutch has held him off. And on fresh softs against Iceman's hard tyres, you'd expect him to pull away. Looking ahead of him, you've got Joe Burns on the hard tyre. So he'll catch him quite quickly. Joe's got 3 seconds to Andy, who's also on the hard, so he's probably going to the ends. Tico is yet to pit, he's on the mediums. Taking them 20 laps, that is some impressive tyre management from him.
So, as it is, Dutch is a pit stop behind Zach. Now, we would expect to see probably Ox, Bran and Chicken Guy back in the pit lane before the end of the race. So Dutch looks set to jump them, but they'll be on fresher tyres towards the end of the race.
Tico pits as Bran swoops up the inside of the other Red Bull of Ox into turn 1. It takes P2 again. He's continuing to battle, but they need to think about their strategy. Are they going to pit again?
Yeah.
Because they need to make that decision quickly.
You said about Dutch catching Joe Burns quickly. He has taken 3 seconds out of him in that lap, and he's now making the move.
Dutch cries out, "I am speed."
It wasn't as much as a move, it was a wave by, I think, from Joe there.
Yeah, I think Joe doesn't need to fight his teammates. He's on significantly faster tyres. He'll just be compromising his own race. Can he tow along on the back of Dutch and catch up to Andy, who's currently running in P5? And on the hard tyre, so Dutch should make quick work of Andy. So Bran and Ox carrying on another lap. Chicken Guy carries on as well. So they're still on their way. Do they think they can get those medium tyres to the end? Dutch sets the fastest lap on 16.4. Already taken 1.5 seconds out of Andy ahead of him. He is flying, he's on these softs now.
That lap from Dutch, 1.3 seconds quicker than anyone else has gone today.
We've got a slightly grumpy Pagani in the chat. I think him and Iceman have come to blows in the accident that saw him retire. Tico picks up a penalty. He's also gone on to the soft tyres, coming in P10. It's not worked out quite as well for Tico as it has for Dutch, but he's got clear track now. He's got 8 seconds to make up on T Smith. He's got mediums and freshish mediums as well, so it's going to be tough to close him at the same rate. But Dutch is currently catching those guys around him.
Big slide for Brand through the final corner. That's probably going to give Ox a run at him.
Dutch tricks meanwhile onto the tail of Coandy for P5. This is probably a formality. And he on those hard tyres. Dutch pops open the flap and he makes light work of Andy up into P5. Now he's got 7 seconds to go to catch Chicken Guy. He's currently running P4, so now on board with Ox and Bran as they battle over P2. These two have been at it all race so far. Our race leader, T1000 Zach, just happily cruising on his way. That lead has not really opened up more than about 5 seconds. So I think he's just managing his pace. And he does have a penalty, so he does need to be wary. Let's let that gap shrink too much. Like we said, we are expecting Ox and Bran to pit again at some point. Zach picks up another penalty. As I say that. Ox is in.
And right on cue, Ox is in.
So here we go. This is definitely going to help Dutch out because Dutch has closed in quite comprehensively on these two. Ox going for the undercut on Bran.
Soft.
Onto the softs. In also comes Chicken Guy. So that moves another obstacle out. Dutch tricks his way and he's up onto the podium now. He's going to come out in P7 alongside T Smith down the start finish straight. Won't have DRS though, so you're going to have to get it done the old fashioned way. He's going to have a lot more grip. He's got a good run off of 3. Gets to the inside and gets the move done into turn 4. Go on board with Dutch as he comes through this S section with a beautiful helicopter view. Makes it look so easy, but that's a very tricky section of this circuit. Into the stadium he comes. He's got 8 seconds to Bran. Bran is going to respond to Ox, so he's in. And that removes the other obstacles, so Dutch Tricks, having had a poor qualifying and a spin and an off-track excursion in the early part of the race, is now P2.
"14 seconds behind Zach, who has 2 penalties to Dutch's 1 thus far.
We'll call that a net 11-second lead then. What can he do over the next 9 laps?
Bran came out of the pit lane on the back of T Smith.
Yeah, so he's lost out to Ox though. Right. Ox has just cleared Iceman. Yeah, just cleared Iceman. There's Bran going up the inside.
Overtaking T Smith in the background.
Yeah, he gets that one done. He's got to get a move on quickly if he wants to get back onto Ox's tail. And the podium for them if they want it.
I mean, I do think that Bran has a penalty advantage over Ox. Yeah, Dutch has taken a second out of Zach on this lap.
So I need that and a little bit more. He's on the soft tyre, Zach on the hard, 17 lap old hards as well. Maybe this race isn't a done formality. We shall see. Ox very quickly homing in on Joe Burns. As in the background, next is Iceman under attack from Bran. And he's got the DRS and gets the overtake done into turn 1. Back up to P6. And he'll have the DRS again on the next straight. To pull away and try and hone in on the back of Ox. So he's got 1.9 seconds to make up now. It's the furthest they've been apart all race. These two.
Joe Burns under pressure from Ox now as they come into the S section.
Which could help Bran out if Ox has to wait to clear Joe. He's already taken 3 or 4 tenths out of that lead. Ox having to follow Joe Burns through this section. TK meanwhile picking up another penalty in the second Red Bull. Thinks about a move up the inside there. He's got so much more grip.
DRS.
All this has let Bran within one. In fact, Bran will have DRS as well, I believe. He's got so much more grip than Joe out of that final corner. DRS open now. He's already alongside though. Bran does not have DRS this lap. Max gets the overtake done. In the background, Nexus Iceman has got T Smith and Tico for company. Iceman on the hard tyre, T Smith on the medium, and Tico on those fresh softs. And the DRS as well. T Smith looking at the inside, Tico going around the outside. Oh, he's got so much more grip. But T Smith coming back at him, thinks better of it. Tico has a bit of a wobble. Joe Burns and Bran side by side through the S's. That is not something Bran has to get a move on. He knows that if he wants to catch Tico, Oxy, sorry. Up the inside into the stadium section. That's not going to work. Oh, bit of contact. Joe holds him off. Bran now should just wait for the DRS. All the while, Ox is getting away. Bran already up the inside, coming out the final corner. He's not going to wait for the DRS. Is it done? That wing will pop open now as well. Should see him pull away. Well, that has let Ox get up the road to the tune of about 3 seconds.
Yeah, he's caught right into the back of Andy now as well, for good measure.
Front, Dutch Truck's not really taking the chunks of time out of Zach that he needs. Down to 12.3 seconds.
He's probably had the best out of that soft tyre. They're on their 9th lap. He needs them to do another 6.
I think P2 after the opening phase of the race is a very respectable result. I don't think I'll be too unhappy with that. Oxy right onto the tail of Andy as he comes into the stadium section. He'll just wait for the DRS though. Andy on those 19 lap old hard tyres. He's not going to have much to defend with. It's just so much more grip. Out of the final corner. Ox starts to close, the wing pops open. Moves to the inside and he doesn't fight it. And Ox is back onto the podium. Bran is 1.8 seconds off the back of Andy. And hang on to Ox's slipstream as long as he can do. But I think it's probably a formality that Bran will catch him. It's 1.6 seconds now.
T Smith and Nexus Iceman are side by side going into turn 4.
Gets it done. Tico just ahead of them onto the tail of Joe Burns. And he's bringing T Smith with him. So Joe now under Under a bit of pressure. Chicken Guy's kind of, in fact, Chicken Guy's onto the tail of Iceman as well. So Chicken Guy, after making a second stop, has joined this group as well, so there could be a few more changes yet. Iceman are likely to be vulnerable. Should still have DRS from T Smith, but the Chicken Guy behind him will have a lot more grip. And pops open, the Williams does not have DRS.
Tico's passing Joe. That's P6 for the Dutchman.
Chicken Guy up the inside of Nexus Iceman into turn 1. Nice and easy. Now onto the back of T Smith. And you can see Joe and Tico in the foreground as well. So Joe Burns could yet find himself under pressure from both T Smith and Chicken Guy very shortly. Pits for the third time today. Onto another set of softs. See potentially damage some wing. Off camera, Bran has taken P4 from Andy, and now he's set off in pursuit of Oxy again. 1.8 seconds between those two. But Ox does have more penalties, we believe.
Yeah, not sure why F3 pitted. Maybe wing damage. He's run all 3 compounds today, so...
I think he was in the pits on the first lap after some contact. He didn't fancy the hards either for very long. I don't think he was on them for more than a couple of laps. Anyway, up front, Zach is actually increasing his advantage over Dutch now. Up to 13.2 seconds again.
Yeah, I think Dutch is going to start struggling on that soft tyre now. So much so that I think Ox might start reeling him in.
5 seconds in 3.5 laps is a big ask, even for somebody of Ox's calibre. But we shall see if they fall off the cliff or not. He's got that added incentive to keep Bran at bay, so he will not be hanging around, that's for sure. Chicken Guy and T Smith very close together now. Chicken Guy making some late moves on those fresh softs. Close there as they come into the stadium section. Both of these two closing on Joe Burns now as well. And Joe could find himself vulnerable from these two and Nexus Iceman as well. Been dragged along. Chicken Guy with the DRS down the inside, and that is as easy as you like. That's P8 for Chicken Guy, and Joe Burns now 7/10 up the road. And then pops open again. I don't think he's close enough this time, but he will be close enough for an attack next time around.
Yeah, Joe's in full battery harvest mode.
Meanwhile, Oxy has taken a second out of Dutch Trix's lead in 1 lap. So he's closing him down. Dutch has probably pushed those tyres a little too hard. We're on to the penultimate lap, or at least the race leader is onto the penultimate lap. Serenely on his way, 15 seconds his advantage. Ox has now got it down to 2.3 seconds. Dutch is hemorrhaging time. He's also just extended that gap over Bran. Back to look at Chicken Guy into the slipstream of Joe Burns. He's got the DRS. Joe doesn't make it too difficult. Chicken Guy up the inside. And he will take P7. Turn 1. Joe now has to defend as T Smith is right up behind him as well. DRS open again. Going to make going to go the long way. Up T Smith.
Just been watching Dutch through the like the slower corners with, you know, the high traction points, and he's running very high gears through there to save the rear tyres.
Well, looking on screen, and Ox is there. Ox is right with him. Just popped him within DRS range. Is he going to be within range at the detection point? I don't think he is. He's got within 7 tenths now, though. Is that the line? Is that the line?
It was. He's got it.
The wing pops open. I don't think he'll be close enough on the main straight, but on this second straight, he will definitely be there. Oh, closing speed of Ox there. Lines him up. A bit too much curve there, but he's got a better run. Dutch struggling for rear traction. Ox goes back in for a moment of slipstream. Goes around the outside. And overtake is done. Ox up into P2. We'll wait for the penalty situation to pad itself out.
Well, Zach comes into the stadium section for the final time.
Once again, a very dominant
goes off.
A very dominant victory from Zach out of the final corner, and that is 3 wins in 3 races for Zach in that Ferrari. Ox coming through the stadium section now in the Red Bull. Bran also homing in on the back of Dutch, the NT. I don't think he's going to have a chance to get up the inside of him in the end.
So I think Bran's going to run out of time.
Ox takes P2 on the road.
Where is he?
Oh, Bran is close. Bran jumps Ox on penalties. So Ox down to P4 in the end. Coandy is 5th. Well, next is Iceman is 5th, in fact. Penalty situation, Andy having a few penalties. Joe Burns is P7, Tico P8, Chicken Guy P9, and T Smith picks up the final point. Aaron across the line in P11, and F3 already being a lap down. Just wait for Raver's Revenge to come through the stadium section.
I just want to quickly put it out there that without penalties I did get the podium right.
You did indeed, well done. Raver's there, weaving a bit across the line, maybe not too happy with how his race has panned out. Brings home his Toro Rosso in P12, so there we have it. It is 3 from 3 for T1000 Zach. He wins ahead of Dutch Tricks and Bran in the Racing Point after Ox drop him from P2 to P4. So top 3. Who do we fancy as our additional driver? There's one I want to say, but based on what's happened in the past, I don't want to say it. I think you know who I'm referring to.
Yeah, I think I know where we're going with this
and
one.
I'm going to say I'm going to go no. Shall we have Ox as well?
I mean, Ox, he did drive well enough to score a podium tonight.
Yeah, let's have Ox as well, shall we?
The penalty side let him down.
We'll have the top 4 then. Yeah, we'll have the top 4. If you can do the invitings, please. So there is our result. T1000 Zach is our race winner from Dutch Tricks. Great result from there from P12 on the grid, and Bran following up his pole position last time out with a podium at round 3. Ox drops off the podium with penalties, unfortunately. With next Iceman, a strong showing from him, starts P5 and holds on to that at the finish. Coandy is P6. That speeding in the pit lane penalty really costing him at the end there. Joe Burns P7, Tico P8 after starting 16th. Good drive from him, up 8 places. Chicken Guy back where he started in P9. Unfortunately, again penalties just dropping him down the order, with T Smith in the Alfa Romeo up from 14th to take the final points paying position. So while we're waiting for drivers to join us in the chats, if you guys in the stream also want to put forward your votes for driver of the day as well, we're getting that poll up shortly, so be sure to keep an eye out for that.
I'm just getting a drink. I'm coming back.
Okay. So just in the chat there we've got Peatman, amazing Zach, unstoppable. Yeah, indeed it was another great drive from the championship leader, and that's appreciated by our Peatman. Indeed, right. So welcome everybody to the interviews. Congratulations to you all. Obviously these are our top four. Coming to you then, Zach. That's 3 races and 3 victories now. It can't really go much better at the minute for you, can it?
Yeah, that's pretty much a perfect start to the season. 3 races, 3 wins, and yeah, this one was quite. I'm not saying easy, but yeah, I managed the race. The second stint was pretty easy because I don't know what happened to Dutch and Tico on qualifying because they were really down the order. I don't know why. So I just managed the race and yeah.
Indeed, so a blistering time in qualifying again, gave you pole. You seem to get an ideal launch as well. You got a really good start there, which kind of kept you out of trouble into turn 1. From there on out, you and LR Betty pulled away initially, and then unfortunately Betty crashed out early on, which kind of left you with a fairly sizable lead. Just want to talk us through your race. It did look quite easy, not really under much pressure.
Nothing happened. I did maybe 2-3 overtakes, but nothing more, and yeah, I just managed it. I was quite surprised with Dutch strategy because mediums to soft on this track is very difficult to do, so yeah, congrats to him for doing that. Very impressive.
Indeed. So obviously championships looking very good for you at this stage. You can't really do much more at the moment. Next week, obviously,
got the fastest lap. So.
It didn't get the fastest lap this week. This is true. So round 4 is Australia. Obviously, it wasn't on the calendar last year. How do you rate your chances of Australia? Is that a circuit you like?
I like the track.
I like the track then. So we won't be surprised to see you at the sharp end again next week.
I will try to get the win, at least fight for the win, and yeah, I'll be there.
So obviously it was quite a quiet race for you. You went for the soft to the hard strategy. What was the tyre wear like here? 'Cause it seemed quite low in the practicing that I've been doing, but obviously you're a series champion. You're forever fighting at the sharp ends. Talk us through sort of tyres.
The soft, I did maybe 10 laps on the soft, and at the end I was at 60% tyre wear. So yeah, quite high. And Dutch maybe did 15 laps on the soft. I don't know how he did that.
He was on the mediums.
And then he was on the mediums. Very easy to do. Very easy the hards.
Yeah. Okay. So tyre wear's not too bad on the hards if they want to go to the soft hards strategy.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be good insight there for the guys in F2 and F3 coming up. So yeah, 3 wins on the bounce. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
So that'll bring us on to our second place driver, Dutch Tricks. So by contrast to Zach's race, your race seemed to have a bit of everything. But we'll start with quali. You went for the medium tyre to qualify on, and we saw quite a large delta between the soft and the medium, which left you down in, what was it, P12?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, didn't thought it would have been such a big gap, because I thought maybe the 1 second isn't the gap between the tires, so maybe 6-7 tenths to sec or Plexits. Yeah, 1.2 seconds I think it was at the end, and P12. Yeah, a lot of the guys in the midfield are so close, this season, so I was already behind them. So yeah, didn't thought that would have happened because I thought more people would have put on the medium tires, but they didn't. So
Okay, and then then onto the race start. You seem to have a pretty decent first sector. I think you was up 4 or 5 positions coming into that first stadium section, and then we saw you off on the inside of the track. What happened there?
Yeah, had a good first sector, and then I think I just had a lot of oversteer, and then I thought, yeah, just cut the corner, just go slowly so don't get any penalty, and rejoin safely because the tires were full of grass, and I thought, yeah, don't hit anything or someone, so everyone can go around the outside, and then was back to P12, so didn't win anything in the first lap, so it was a big shame. I think it would have been higher, or maybe even close to Zach at the end, but yeah, he had also a phenomenal pace, so it would have been different.
Yeah, we saw you get your tyres cleaned up and you started to fight your way back through the field. When you came into the pits and went onto the sauce, was that always the strategy, or was that more of a reacting to what had happened to you earlier in the race, trying something different?
Yeah, of course I got spun around by Pagani. I think it was around lap 8 or 10, don't know exactly which lap it was. And after that I thought, yeah, race is done, everyone's doing the one stop and I can't do anything more, maybe a P8 or so, but I wasn't happy anything. And then I said to Tico, yeah, I'm just gonna do it, go stretch the mediums and go to the softs and try something with that strategy. But it was very hard because I pitted from the mediums to softs at 80% and I finished the race on 90% on the softs, so it wasn't the nicest bit of tires.
I was gonna ask what sort of tyre wear figures you was on, and yeah, I imagined them to be quite high.
Yeah, I wanted to go further on the mediums, but I thought, yeah, softs, they can go 15 laps, it should be possible. But after 5 laps they're already 30%, so I had to stretch them and save so much tires. That's unbelievable.
Okay, well, an eventful race this week, a very good fight back drive. Australia next week. How have you gone around there in the past, and how do you think you'll go next week?
I think qualifying will be very important. It's not the easiest track to overtake, but I think chances will be big once again, and hope I can finally throw Zach off the first place.
Yep, well, a good drive tonight and a good effort, so good luck next week, and I'm sure we'll probably be speaking to you again then.
Yeah, thank you.
So on to our third place finisher tonight, that's Bran in the Racing Point. Congratulations, Bran, first podium of the season.
Thank you.
So obviously took pole position last week, podium this week, certainly making progress in the right direction with this season. How do you think you've been driving so far in the first sort of 3 races?
Well, Britain, that doesn't instant turn one, so I couldn't really show my pace. Russia, also got pole, I was in the wet, so wasn't really my true pace. I was a bit angry because I was, I think, like 1 second off getting a podium, and I got a silly gun-putting pen last lap or something, last 2 laps. So I think I could have got a podium last week, but yeah, this week I was quite lucky. Obviously, Dutch and I think Tika were down the back for the start. When you capitalised on that, Dutch was very slidey at the end with his soft tyres. So yeah, it was a good race. I'm happy with the podium, obviously.
Yeah, so we sort of watching you have a great battle, almost race along with Oxy. I mean, the circuit and the DRS zones here really lends itself to that start-finish straight. We're watching you two, and you obviously both diving in towards the pit wall to try and break the slipstream here. Sort of how difficult is it to sort of maintain your position with such a long straight with the DRS?
Well, yeah, he overtook me a few times, and then at one point I realised, staying behind him is actually better for me. I was setting green sectors every single time with the DRS, and it was actually helping me stay with the guys ahead. Obviously, at one point though, I knew I needed to overtake him if I wanted to ahead of him, but then he got an extra pen and stuff, so I just knew I needed to move in 3 seconds, which I was a bit worried about at the end when he overtook Dutch. I thought he was a bit too far back, but I just did. But the battle was fun, yeah. Bit of contact now and then, but it was fine.
Yeah, so it was fairly clean this week, which is what we want to see. Looking ahead to next week then, is Australia's round 4. How do you feel about Australia? Is that a circuit you like? Do you think you're going to go well there?
Yeah, historically Australia's been a good track. The last game I think I won a few league races there. So obviously this league's very quick though, so I know lots of stuff to see really. I think my pace will be good though.
Well, fingers crossed. Hopefully you're in the mix for the front end and battling for a podium again next week, so congratulations.
Thank you.
And finally, we'll move on to Oxy. Came home P4 tonight after finishing P2 on the road, but lost it on penalties. Just talk us through your race. I mean, you had a almost race-long battle with Bran. Just talk us through that from your perspective. Fun?
Yeah, I think it was fun. I mean, obviously we had a nice battle, but I think at the start of the the battle, I wasn't gonna overtake. I was just gonna take the slipstream and he would just carry me home to a podium place, and that was the original plan. But then I started to feel the dirty air a bit in sector 2, so I figured I have to go for it, and yeah, obviously there was a bit of contact, and I think he was weaving at some point, which is in my opinion illegal, but I know he was just trying to break the slipstream, but it is still illegal from side to side. But otherwise, I think I should have been up there. The track limits are very horrible in Mexico. I mean, I had 2 wheels on the track or on the striped stuff, and I got a penalty for it. But that's the way it goes. Life is shit. What are you gonna do?
I mean, the strategy seemed to work out for you pretty well. You had good pace at the end and caught up to Dutch on those absolutely knackered soft tyres at the end. Did you know like how old those tyres were and that you were struggling?
I mean, yeah. Actually, I didn't even know what strategy was Dutch was on. I just figured he took the hards and then the softs, but it turned out he started on the mediums and then took the softs. So absolutely mad in my opinion. But it seemed to work out for him. He got P2, less penalties, so congrats to him. But yeah, my first stint, I kind of knew what the pace could be at the end, and then I started to feel the effect of not getting the car turned into the corner. The fronts were just washing away. So, and then the second stint was better, and then obviously take the softs again at the end and just push for it. I always knew the 2-stop was going to be, better-ish, in my opinion, in Mexico, but it just didn't work out for a podium.
Well, yeah, if not for penalties, it worked out perfectly. But yeah, like you say, what you're going to do? The track limits around Mexico are a bit sensitive, so it's one of those things. Australia next week. You had that in performance a couple of weeks back, so you've got some prior knowledge to it. How did you get on around there, and what are you thinking for next week?
Well, first of all, I can recall driving only 2.5 laps in the Williams, so no, I don't have any experience basically at all. So I don't know. I'm just not expecting a great deal out of it, so maybe that can get me a podium. Try the same tactic today, just not gonna think about it, and just didn't work out. Hopefully it'll be like that next week.
Okay, well done tonight, mate, and best of luck for next week and the rest of the season.
Cheers.
And I'll hand you back over to Lee to wrap us up.
Indeed, thank you very much. So that rounds up our coverage of this evening. Congratulations to all the podium finishers and everybody who got to the end there. Some great battles for everybody to watch. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow evening for F2 and Wednesday again for F3 as the boys there take on Mexico. Then on Thursday we've got performance from Germany. And finally on Friday we've got rounds 5 and 6 of the GT Sport League. So plenty more FTRL action to get your teeth into. Just the one race done this week. So that's it from us tonight. Thank you very much for tuning in, and hopefully see some of you again tomorrow for F2. But for now, thank you and goodbye.